I should never have asked my grandfather about World War II. What did you just say? I stammered, completely stunned at the words that had just left my grandfather's mouth. For as long as I could remember, my grandfather practically lived in the old armchair, always looking out towards the horizon. I always assumed he'd seen some stuff during World War II, because I'd never heard him talk about it before. So when I asked him about the war, I expected him to shrug it off like he always did. But now I know the horrifying things he was a part of. He didn't answer right away. At first, I thought he was ignoring me, but then he turned his head slowly towards me. His eyes locked onto mine, and for a second I saw something in them that terrified me, a darkness, a heaviness that I couldn't comprehend. When the war ended, he began, his voice low and gravelly, it didn't really end for us. Not for me, not for my unit. We were sent into the ruins, you see, the places nobody talked about. I swallowed hard, already regretting asking the question, but I couldn't stop now. I had to know. They told us we were going to a small village, somewhere in the German countryside. Said the Nazis had been experimenting there. Something to do with advancements in warfare. His voice cracked, and he leaned forward, his gnarled hands gripping the arms of the chair like he was still holding a rifle, ready for a fight. I shifted uncomfortably, feeling the weight of the conversation shift into a darker place. Experiments? I asked, unsure if I wanted to know the answer. He nodded slowly. They didn't tell us much, just enough to make us follow orders. We thought it was another one of those camps, you know, like the ones we'd heard about. But this was different. I had never seen him like this. The color had drained from his face, and his hands were shaking. His breathing became shallow, almost labored, and I realized how much this was costing him to even speak. The village wasn't on any map, he continued, staring into the distance like he was watching it all over again. We were told it was part of some underground operation. We found it by accident. The trees around it were dead, blackened like they'd been burned from the inside out. The air, it was wrong. Like it didn't belong there. It felt thick, heavy, almost like you could drown in it. He closed his eyes, and I could see tears welling up. My stomach knotted. This wasn't just another war story. We found the lab, he whispered, and I had to lean in to hear him. It was underground, hidden beneath the remains of an old church. The doors were sealed shut, but we managed to blow them open. We thought we were rescuing people, thought we'd find prisoners, survivors maybe. But what we found? He trailed off, his voice cracking, and for a moment, I wasn't sure if he could continue. What did you find, Grandpa? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He shook his head, his hands trembling violently now. They were people once, but they'd been changed, twisted. There were rows of them, strapped down to metal tables, wires and tubes running through their bodies. Their skin, it was gray, almost translucent. They had no eyes, just hollow sockets. But they were alive, barely. Their mouths moved like they were trying to scream, but no sound came out. It was like they'd been screaming for so long, they'd forgotten how. I felt bile rising in my throat. I didn't want to hear more, but I couldn't stop listening. We tried to get them out, he said, his voice breaking. We tried to help them. But when we cut them loose, they attacked us. They weren't human anymore. Whatever the Nazis had done to them, it had broken them. They were like animals, feral, mindless. My men, my friends, they didn't stand a chance. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand, but it didn't stop the tears. I killed them, he whispered. I had to. There was no choice. They weren't alive, not really. But I'll never forget their faces. I'll never forget the way they moved, the way they looked at me, like they wanted to die but couldn't. I sat there, frozen, unable to process what I was hearing. My grandfather, the man I'd looked up to my whole life, had been carrying this nightmare with him for decades, and I had no idea. I didn't know what to say, how to comfort him, how to make sense of the horror he just shared. It didn't end there, he said, his voice barely audible now. After we cleared the lab, we found the real reason we'd been sent there. They'd been working on something worse than anything we'd ever imagined. A weapon. Not just bombs, not just gas. It was alive. Some kind of biological entity. It was contained in this massive tank, floating in a thick viscous fluid. It looked human, but it wasn't. Its eyes were open, watching us. And then it spoke. I felt a chill run down my spine. It spoke. Not in words, he said, shaking his head. In my head. It told me things, terrible things, things I can't repeat.